companies.
Yeah, Congressman Adam Kinzinger from Illinois' 16th District has been kind enough to join Anita and I via Skype. And Congressman, as we say good morning to you, there are millions of frustrated small business owners out there who say they were left out in the cold by nearly 200 publicly held companies that grabbed $500 million that was meant for them. Is it going to be different this time around?
Yeah, look, so there's some rules coming out. We've obviously learned, whenever something like this happens and you roll it out in 2 weeks, you know that there's going to be problems. There were some problems, but let's still keep this in perspective. There were 1.6 million loans that still went out. The vast majority of those to small business, small companies. There were some, obviously, that got a lot of attention, but this was a multiple billion-dollar program. So what we've done now is protect a certain amount of money, a significant amount of money for small banks, $70 billion for them particularly. And then there are going to be rules coming out that I think protect access for small companies in this for sure.
You know, I have other questions I want to get to, but I'm just thinking about this. You know, a lot of people are trying to pay their rent. They're trying to stay afloat, and they can't get these stimulus checks. At least some people say that they've tried to get into the IRS system, and they're having so much difficulty. What do you want people to know out there? Because it is so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to have to just keep trying. It's a tough thing. If you had direct deposit, you should have your check right now. If you don't, I'd certainly be looking why. If your check is going to be mailed, that obviously takes longer. And, the government, we made a decision to send out millions and millions of checks. It takes a little time to do it. So while I wish I could wave a magic wand and say that the technology all of a sudden magically exists to do it, it's going to take some time. You're going to have to just keep looking. And if ultimately you don't get it, the IRS.gov website is the place to look, and they'll have question and answers, and you can also reach out to them there.
I know Anita wants to ask you about Kim Jong-un, so I'll make this one quick. What is your confidence that a phase 4 of financial aid is coming and that this one is going to be largely earmarked for states and local governments?
I think my confidence is pretty good. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen soon. I think we need to take a look at the overall damage from this so we can assess what the right thing to do is. One thing we're not going to do is bail out Illinois' mismanagement that existed before this coronavirus. They will get help based on this coronavirus damage. But as the Senate president came and basically asked us to fix their mismanagement, that will not happen.
Congressman, you are on the Committee for Foreign Affairs. I want to ask you, what are you hearing this morning about North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un? Of course, there's conflicting reports, hard to get real information. And if he is indeed dead, what does that mean potentially for the United States and possibly a better relationship with North Korea? Possibly?
I don't know if it means a better relationship because it's all based on palace intrigue in Korea. So what's happening right now, if he's dead or incapacitated, I think he is. There is a jockey for power, and it may be between the military and his sister, and it's something we won't really know what happened until it's over. China seems to have their hands in this secession of power. We'll see how that goes. But bottom line, it could either be very dangerous, it could maybe be better, probably status quo when it's all said and done.
And Congressman, we learned last week from the governor that he has extended the stay-at-home order through the month of May, and yet over the weekend, as we have reported, a lot of people are defying that. There was a large house party. It could have been 1,000 people in attendance. How concerned are you that as it gets warmer, as we get spring transitioning into summer this month with the temperatures, that more people are going to violate the governor's stay-at-home order?
So I am concerned, and this is where I would say to people, look, don't be dumb about it. Don't get in huge groups together, and let's just be. This is a real virus. But to the governor, I'd also say, look, you have to use some reasonableness here. My district is largely rural outside of Chicago. They're basically social distance now. Do we really need to be treated exactly the same as the city of Chicago at all times? So while I think the governor is doing the best he can, I think people are going to start rebelling against this, and we're a very individualistic country. It's one of our strengths. We need to manage it that way.
I also want to ask you about, there's talk that this pandemic or this problem with the coronavirus could, create problems in the fall. We could have a resurgence. And so on MSNBC yesterday, Congressman Adam Schiff was talking about the possibility of having every American have a postage-paid ballot. What are your thoughts about that idea?
Look, that's pandering. Look, Illinois has a mail-in program. Illinois has an early voting program. We have an absentee program. Anybody who wants to vote early can and has been able to as long as I've been voting. What they're making it sound, they're going off this Wisconsin thing and making it sound like there's some massive denial because of the fall. We don't know what's going to happen in the fall yet. Every state runs their own elections. If Illinois decides they want to have a mail-in ballot program, great, but that is not a federal government decision. And trying to turn this crisis into federalizing everything, let's not do that. Let's just get through the crisis and be as united as we can and make sure everybody has a right to vote in the fall, for sure.
Congressman Kinzinger from his home. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Good Day Chicago. Appreciate your time.
You bet. See you guys.
All right.